So the other day I was scrolling through Instagram and I came across a post on the Baller Alert Instagram page that read, "To parents of school shooting victims, Trump says guns are essential for security and entertainment." Now, my initial thought was, damn, Trump is cold-blooded. Then I swiped to watch the video. The video Baller Alert posted goes like this.
With respect, could you explain your gun control policy to the parents of the victims of school shootings?
I could. We have a Second Amendment and right to bear arms, essentially. And I'm very strongly an advocate of that. I think you need that. I think that if you ever tried to get rid of it, you wouldn't be able to do it. You wouldn't be able to take away the guns because people need that for security. They need it for entertainment and for sport and other things.
Now, at first glance, that clip makes it sound like Trump is saying guns are just for fun and games, even to parents who lost their kids in school shootings. But something felt off. So I decided to dig a little deeper and found the full clip of his response. And here's what Trump actually said in its entirety.
To do it, you wouldn't be able to take away the guns because people need that for security. They need it for entertainment and for sport and other things. But they also, in many cases, need it for protection. If you have a house out in the country or you're in a little bit of a rough area or in a very rough area and the bad guy, let's call him, has a gun, if you don't have a gun, you're finished. You have no chance. So you need them. You want to have a lot of good people have them. But if we didn't have that, you would see a crime rate that's crazy. I'll tell you, though, it's a very interesting stat.
He goes on to explain how taking guns away would make people vulnerable, referencing places like Chicago, where there are strict gun laws but high crime rates.
The toughest gun laws in the United States, by far, are Chicago. And that's got one of the worst records of any city, and a lot of them are shot. 17 people died on Labor Day. 17 people died Labor Day weekend in Chicago. It's got laws that are so tough, they want to do everything. They can do anything they want. You have a gun. There's no place, maybe on earth, that has a tougher gun policy than Chicago. No, there's no place that has. And they have the right to do anything they want to you. You know what happens? It's probably the worst place right now, one of the most unsafe places anywhere in this country, maybe anywhere in the world.
He emphasizes the importance of responsible gun ownership and ends with, it's not the gun, it's the person pulling the trigger.
It's the person pulling the trigger. It's not the gun, it's the person pulling the trigger. But if you ever passed something, she wants to take everybody's gun away. You know, she's always wanted that. That's because it's what she wants. She wants to take everybody's gun. You know who the ones that will never give their guns up? The bad guy. The bad guy's not giving up the gun. So that's what we have. We want safety, we want security, but you have to still adhere to the Second Amendment.
Now, the way Baller Alert cut this video, they made it look like Trump didn't care about kids dying in school shootings and was more concerned about people having fun with guns. But in reality, he spoke for 2 minutes about how essential firearms are for safety and security, something they conveniently left out. What's even sadder is you have even bigger mainstream platforms like Jimmy Kimmel, who did this clip on Trump's statement.
Yesterday, Colion took his gifts to South Beach for a Univision town hall. This was not a Fox town hall full of hand-picked sycophants. These people were serious and for once put this nut job on the spot.
Could you explain your gun control policy to the parents of the victims of school shootings?
I could. We have a Second Amendment and right to bear arms, essentially. And I'm very strongly an advocate of that. I think you need that. I think that if you ever tried to get rid of it, you wouldn't be able to do it. You wouldn't be able to take away the guns because people need that for security. They need it for entertainment and for sport and other things. But they also, in many cases, need it for protection.
Excuse me, the question was...
Could you explain your gun control policy to the parents of the victims of school shootings?
I guess the answer is no.
Jimmy showed the same cutoff clip mocking Trump, saying, could you explain your gun control policy to the parents of the victims of school shootings? And then cut the video short like Trump dodged the question. This is the kind of media manipulation I'm talking about. Trump gave a detailed response, but Kimmel made it look like Trump didn't care at all. Even worse, he made it seem as if Trump dodged his question entirely and then proceeded to crack jokes about it and then made his audience think at no point did Trump address the question. But then literally, immediately, it's not like you could say, oh, well, maybe they didn't realize there was more. It cuts off right at the point where Trump starts explaining exactly what he means. And then he actually goes on longer than the initial point. This is disgusting, but this is what we're talking about when we're talking about this left-leaning media that we're dealing with right now. Take the Giffords Group, for instance, an anti-gun group. The Giffords Group titled an article that they wrote about it saying, "Trump to parents of murdered students, we need guns for entertainment." They completely left off the security part, much less the fact that they talked about the entertainment side of it to make it seem like Trump only cared about guns for entertainment. And then HuffPost did the same shit. Trump tells school shooting victims' parents, we need guns for entertainment. Yo, like, we live in a very kooky world where our mainstream media outlets are being this dishonest. These outlets know that most people only read the headlines and then move on. But if you take the time to listen to his full response, it's obvious that his main point was about security and protection and the essence of the Second Amendment. And it just frustrates me to no end, because then we got to deal with these people who have half information and think they know what they're talking about, only to later realize they had no clue what the entire statement was. But when we're talking to them about the issue, they think they know what they're talking about, but they don't. This kind of dishonesty in the media is insane. It's not just about Trump, it's about the Second Amendment and how every time someone tries to defend it, they're painted as a monster. The way they're trying to do it here with Trump, to make it seem like all he cares about is having fun with guns. Those kids. But that's not the case, but this is a tactic that they always use. They try to guilt trip you and try to make it look like we don't care about the victims, when in reality, we're advocating for self-defensive protection so that we don't become victims. Trump even said it himself in the clip.
It's the person pulling the trigger. It's not the gun. It's the person pulling the trigger.
So the real conversation should be about how do we deal with those types of people who commit these types of heinous acts, not demonizing law-abiding gun owners or demonizing Trump to make it seem like he doesn't care about these people simply because you want to be put into power. This whole situation just highlights how biased the media can be, especially when it comes to guns and the Second Amendment. If you only saw the headlines, you think Trump was out of touch. But when you look at the full context, you realize it's far from the truth. Sure, he didn't say it in the most eloquent way possible, but any moron would be able to watch what he said, hear it, and know exactly what he meant. Which is why it's so important that when you go to the polls in November, to vote for the Second Amendment, because that is what's important here. And I'm telling you, if Kamala gets into office, I've done countless videos about how detrimental Kamala is to the Second Amendment and how she is anti-Second Amendment in its highest form. But most importantly, when you do go to the polls, make sure you have the appropriate attire. You don't want to show up to the polls and not look like you're supposed to look. And the way you're supposed to look is to inform people that you want to keep America tactical. Kind of like wearing this premium embroidered hoodie that I have right now from our Keep America Tactical series. I have this design in all 50 states. So head over to shop.mrcolionnoir.com and grab your state-specific Keep America Tactical premium embroidered hoodie. I also have them in hats. I have them in drinkware. I have them in shirts as well. And also, if you want to just pick up for a little fun, go ahead and get your Pew Collectors Anonymous hat as well. I love you guys. Make sure you go to the polls and vote to protect the Second Amendment. One thing's for certain and two things are for sure. Politicians and tech giants don't want gun content to be recommended to you. And we're all fighting this culture war together. Now, you can help do your part by liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel, but most importantly, sharing this video with at least one person. Together, we can stop the suppression of our two-way rights. And don't forget to click the link in the description section of this video for the products that I mentioned in this video.